about his God. See, you've got to be a defender of the faith. You've got to be one that knows that God is for me and I'm for him. He is my redeemer. The relationship has got to be so intact with you and him that you allow no one to come against your God. No one to speak against him, because he is the Almighty. He can do anything. He's the giver and sustainer of life. Only for David now to find himself giving his brothers a little victuals, taking care of them. And the Lord sets it up for the moment that he hears Goliath talking about it. You know about him. Y'all know the story. He said, you won't talk about my God like this. Oh, no, you won't. See, God begins to set you up right in the midst of your obedience. It's by the right timing, the right chance. The chances are given by the Lord. The timing is through your obedience. You find yourself lining up with chance and timing, and all of a sudden God has said, it's your time. I've anointed you just for that. Do you know you're being anointed for something right now? God is anointing you for something right now. Things that look the way they look ain't going to always be that way no more. Some things are about to change. You're about to step into your destiny in such a way that things are about to transform. It ain't predicated on the education that you have. It ain't predicated on the job. Some of us put ourselves where we're trusting the very things that have brought us this far to think it will continue to take us. Only for God to say, guess what? I need you to leave that career. I need you to leave that career. Let that job go. See, I want you to know that we're about to live in an hour where the just shall live by faith and not by sight. You're going to find yourself now saying, Lord, see, it's going to go against the fiber because everybody around you think, oh, wow, what school did you go to? You must went to Juilliard. Oh, you must went to, oh, come on, you must went to John Hopkins.
Harvard.
Princeton.
Harvard.
Where? Harvard. Where? Come on, y'all. Harvard. John Hopkins. Good God. Come on, give me one on, Brother John. Give me one. Come on. Howard.
Morehouse, he said.
You see how we are now beginning to call out names of institutions that speak well of you if you attend there. It should say, if I go there, it should cause me to be.
Somebody.
I want you to know that is not how you come into what God has ordained for your life. It may be the entryway. But God, when you get there, he says, now it's time to move. It's time to take your lunch. It's time to take your lunch. It's time for you now to come in order with me. Come align with me. We've begun to put our trust in our education. That's all I'm saying. We're trying to do those things. Where do you live? I live out in Owens Mills. I'm in Eldersburg. I lived in Randallstown. I moved out to Sykesville. It is amazing how we began to posture ourselves. I'm out in Bel Air. You gotta run into people that add this little flag to where they live. Why can't they say, I live in the city? No, we did live there. We moved. Everyone, we moved. Where'd you move to? We're down in Prince George's County. Oh, did you know that is the highest income per capita? Did you know that's one of the highest income per capita areas in America? Yeah. See, you know that. See, so we run into these challenges where we say things to pump ourselves up. We make ourselves look large. Only to really realize that those are not the things that are sustaining us. I want you to know at any moment the bottom can drop out. That's right. Or you'll find yourself having to trust God to bring you through this situation and every situation. I need you to know this morning that God's got you covered. David finds himself just saying, wait a minute, I'm defending God. See, when David was anointed, Jesse, Samuel, the prophet, did not tell him, I'm anointing you to be king. He was just being anointed. The prophet was being obedient. And David received the anointing. And David went where? Back to the field. And I want you to know this morning that God has anointed you right where you're sitting right now. And it looks like when you leave here this morning, you're going back to the same routine. I want you to be faithful in what you're doing. I want you to be committed in what you're doing. Go to work on time. Look to your neighbor and say, go to work on time. No, don't go to work on time. Be on time. Many of us go to work on time. I'm an employee. I got to mess with that one. Yeah. Many go to work on time. They just don't be on time. But this morning we want the testimony that we are those when we are representatives of Jesus Christ. You got to understand, David fulfilled his assignment when he was in the field. He was an overseer. He took care of the sheep. Listen, even when trouble came, he was able to be a defender. He fought the bear and he what? He killed it. He fought the lion and he killed it. So he became skilled in his assignment. I'm saying get skillful in what you're doing. Some of you may have to go back and take some extra classes. You may have to do some things to sharpen up who you are. You might need some extra credits and things that begin to posture yourself. You're hearing me this morning? Because as much as we're looking at the things here that we're trying to align ourselves, some of us in our best won't have a 4.0. But not having a 4.0 don't mean God won't use you. Don't mean God has to set you aside to be his anointed. See, you can take a 2.0 and run a nation. Listen to me this morning. When God has anointed you for something, it's not predicated on the background. It's predicated on the obedience. It's predicated in being in line. Coming, when he moves, when he say move, you move. I've come to find out, even the story of Cinderella, I was so intrigued. I was amazed. Did I tell that story well? Did I tell it well? I tried to do my best. I tried to remember the names because names are important, right? So when I thought about the two sisters that tried to make sure that she couldn't go, you know what they did? They tore up her gown. That gown was dear to her. It was her mother's. The bird and the mice, that part threw me because I don't know how they were able to sew the beads on, but that's the story. It's a fairy tale. It's a fairy tale. Thank you, Elder Brown. It's a fairy tale. I got lost there, Brother Godfrey, when I recounted the story, and I'm like, it must have been the bird flying with the thread. That's all I can think of. But see, when God has you in mind, he uses things that goes beyond your own thinking. When he has you in mind, he used the donkey and the chicken. And that's what began to happen to Cinderella. The mice and the birds began to put on such a beautiful dress. But I want you to know the enemy is always looking. And he's always lurking. And the minute you think you're going to step forward, he's right there to try to bring you down. So they ripped the dress apart and they tore it down. And she's like, that was my only opportunity. Don't quit. Don't quit. Don't quit. Because in that moment, Cinderella had to run out into the garden because she was perplexed and didn't know what to do. That was my only opportunity to get to the ball. I had nothing else to wear. Only to realize that God is in the garden. God is in the garden. When you run to the garden, God is right there. Yeah. When you fall down on your knees, God is right there. It didn't say that Cinderella prayed, but somehow I see her saying, oh my God. Can I add to the story?
Wow.
She begins to lift her hands because she's so perplexed and she calls on the Lord. And in the garden, the Lord says, look, I've anointed you for this. This is your moment. And see, when God's anointed you for something, things just begin to happen. A carriage will show up. A carriage will show up. God will use a pumpkin. He'll use a skate wheel. He'll use anything by all means necessary.
Right.
But there's going to be a carriage for you to get there. Yes. See, when God has ordained the moment and the time for you, and you've been obedient, guess what? You're going to get to your destination. And see, don't worry about what you're going to wear. He's got you in mind. Boogity, boogity, boo. Boogity, boogity, boo. You know what? That was the wand that was used in such a way that the fairy godmother says, look, no dress. Boogity, boogity, boo. See, when God has you in mind, this is anointing. He's already spoken in time. It's already spoken in time. So when you got in the garden, he already spoke in time of carriage. And you just kept walking gal. And you look and say, oh, I got on glass slippers. You know, it didn't say it had on shoes. It's a glass slippers. Look at what God does for us. This is how he prepares us for our moment in time. So don't count me out, even when it look like I've been robbed. Look like somebody took my position. It looked like what was mine has been taken. It looked like my marriage is trouble. Look like I'm not going to have it. Look like I ain't going to have no more. Look like all the husbands are gone. Ain't no more men. The devil is a liar.
Jesus.
There's good men. Get ready to show up. They're going to show up with integrity. They're going to show up because they love God. God's got you in mind. Don't give up. Don't quit. You are anointed. So when you're anointed, God knows what you need. He said, he that findeth you, good God, finds a good thing. Only the Lord can set you up like that. So I don't want you fretting. I look like I'm going to be alone all by myself. No, you ain't. Look to your neighbor and say he's on his way. See, you got to know how to say that thing and believe it. See, y'all afraid to say it. Y'all afraid. You keep saying, Pastor, you're praying for my husband. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Because it look like ain't no more good men. No, hold up your stand. Don't let your standing down. Cinderella didn't change who she was just because it looked like the opportunity was gone. As the saints of God, you don't change your position either. Stay fervent.